Hey, what's up, socialites? Welcome back to the Social Studies Podcast with me, Joe Dombrowski.
And me, Gaspare Randazzo.
Real quick, I am going to be in San Francisco on Friday. Then I'm going to be in Fort Wayne, Providence, Timonium, Maryland, Spokane, Salt Lake City, Vegas, Dania Beach, Florida, DC, Calgary, Rochester, New York, Pittsburgh, and Denver. Then I'm taking a full month off to get married. Wow. What about you?
I am going to be. Some of these dates haven't even been announced yet, but they haven't been ticketed up yet. I'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Phoenix, Arizona, San Diego, Poughkeepsie, New Brunswick, New Jersey, Hershey, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Philadelphia, Long Island, Tampa, Detroit, and Staten Island, and people of Columbus, Ohio. I might be getting to you guys real soon too.
Great. If it's where I think it's going to be, it's a great venue.
Yeah, they messaged me today. Follow me on Instagram and then message me.
Look at that. Look
I
at
know.
you. Look at you moving up.
And when I didn't even have a website. You know what? Last week, they billed me for those of you who have been listening for a long time, I didn't have a website for a long time. And Joe used to yell at me to get a website. And last week, they billed me for my 1 year of having a website. Having a website really did do a lot for me. Thank you, Joseph.
For those of you who are not watching on YouTube, we have a new YouTube channel just for the Social Studies Podcast. But I need you to know something. I am speaking to a newborn baby. There is barely any hair on this face that I'm looking at right now because Gaspar apparently shaved to live out his Abraham Lincoln cosplay moment. And it's freaking me out.
So Sunday night, I shaved. It was Abe Lincoln's birthday anniversary, pre-birthday, February 11th. So I shaved my mustache. First off, Lucy was begging me. She was like, "Daddy, please don't do it. Please." And I was like, "Baby, I have to." So I shaved my mustache and right away I regretted it. I was like, I look like an Amish douche. Then,
legitimately, you did.
Like, so Amish. Then my car broke, right? It wasn't starting. So I had to get my car, I had to jump it, bring it to the mechanic. So then I was like, all right, not a big deal, whatever. I just look Amish at the mechanic. So I go to work dressed as Abe Lincoln. My students don't even react. They don't give two shits that I'm dressed as Abe Lincoln. It's just like another day. They were like, then after work, the mechanic calls me. He's like, "Hey, your car's ready." And I was like, "Oh, shit." So then I was in full Abe Lincoln attire and my friend Tracy dropped me off at the mechanic and I just stepped out of the car and just walked in hat in hand because like I couldn't leave it in her car. And they just looked at me and started laughing. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a teacher." And then they were confused. Also, they didn't give a shit. And then I went home and I shaved my whole face. I went to the barber and I cut it all. And Gaspar got the same exact haircut as me and obviously has no hair. So he looks so much alike right now. It's pretty cool.
I got to tell you something. You hooked me in when you said you looked Amish and you didn't. And I was sitting here thinking, I was like, why don't the Amish have mustaches? So I Googled this and we're probably not going to be able to finish this conversation, but Amish don't let their mustaches grow out, and it connects somehow to the fact that Amish refuse to enlist in the military.
So what does a mustache have to do with the military?
Well, wait, hold on. Amish people have American citizenships, right? Or do they not have birth certificates and security numbers, social security and stuff?
Hold on. So Amish don't pay certain taxes because they will never collect social security from the government. So they don't pay certain taxes. Like they have a deal with the government so they don't pay certain things, but they'll never get social security. So like an Amish person will work till the day they die, but the Amish community takes care of each other type of thing. So like they'll create their own type of social security. And I think like they don't use the services like that you and I are using. So they're not paying taxes on certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So they might only pay for like just roads because they drive their horses on it or whatever.
Yeah. But like, I don't think they're paying like hospital taxes because they're going to like an Amish doctor in a barn. So like they're not paying for that. And like they're schooling their own children. So they're not paying certain taxes. I don't know the exact
licenses. Do they have like IDs?
Driver's license?
Not even, I don't know. Well, even if you don't
like
have
a state ID,
license, like yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Don't you like need one first? You can't just be like walking the
what?
streets.
Oh, and also their religion doesn't allow them to take photos. So the Amish do not have any photo IDs.
Is that allowed?
Okay. Now, one consequence of deserving being Amish, the core belief is that the Amish refrain from accepting Social Security and Medicare benefits. Some cases, even obtaining a Social Security number, at least until later in life. Do Amish people need driver's license? Amish people in Ohio do not have to follow the same driving regulations and laws as people with cars. Children as young as 8 are on the road operating buggies. Amish do not have to take driving tests or get a driver's license or purchase vehicle insurance. They do not even use seatbelts or car seats for infants.
In their buggy.
In the buggy.
I think it's safe to say the Amish aren't listening to the podcast, right?
They can't.
Well, like practicing Amish.
They don't use birth control.
Oh, Gaspare, I got a fucking holy shit. Full pivot, okay? Full pivot. But before we pivot, if any of you are former Amish, or if you're dating or married to an ex-Amish and you have some like Amish insider information, email us at thesocialstudiespodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear your Amish.
This is an interesting one. What are the Amish bedroom rules?
Wait, sexually?
Well, listen, each person sleeps on their own side of the bed with a board in between them to prevent any physical contact. The couple is allowed to talk to each other during the night, but they're not allowed to touch each other. Maybe Melissa's Amish.
Wait, then when do they make fucky boom boom then? Like, how do they make the children?
They probably like have a time, like
turkey
let's do
based.
It. I don't know.
Wild.
What are the Amish not allowed to do?
Everything.
Most Amish groups forbid owning automobile, tapping electricity from public utility lines. So does that mean they're allowed to use
pumping water, like wells?
You know, the water well. Using self-propelled farm machinery? Okay.
Yeah.
Owning a television, a radio, or a computer, attend high school and college, join the military, and initiate divorces. And also photos are banned.
Okay, let me ask you this though, right? But you're still American. And isn't it like the law that your kid has to go to school?
Yeah, but I think if you get your own education, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe they're like, hey.
Well, they're homeschooled or whatever.
Yeah, like Mama Mary's doing the homeschooling.
Okay, quick other question. How do homeschool people like prove that the kids are being taught?
They take state tests.
They do?
Yeah. So we
but
have
then
kids.
Like nothing happens though, right? Because if you're okay, so say I'm a homeschool parent, but I'm a degenerate and I just register my kid to be homeschooled, but I don't take the time to like teach or learn or any of that. And then they take the state test and they fail, but me as a parent doesn't give a fuck.
No, because homeschool, I believe you have to be a licensed person. You can't just be like, I'm the parent,
really?
I'm homeschooling.
I didn't know that.
Do you need a license to homeschool your child? New York State, yeah. That parents or legal guardians have the right to instruct their child at home as long as they file the appropriate forms and reports. They are eligible to homeschool. But what does that mean?
Exactly. You know? Like, is there fuckery about? I need to know.
Yeah, you have to do 900 hours of school a year. That's all it says. Literally, that's it.
Probably just filling out like a sheet or whatever.
You know, I used to teach homeschool.
Wait, shut up. So if my kid's homeschooled, I can hire somebody to come and do it?
Yeah. So it's called home instruction.
So that then, like, what's the point?
All right. So in New York, I can't speak for every place, but in New York, we have something called home instruction. So, like, for example, I had a student who had school phobia, right? What's that? Agoraphobia, where you can't be out in public, right? Agoraphobia,
sure. I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. I just don't know.
Yeah. So she could not leave her house at all. So I went 3 times a week to her house after school.
Oh,
and I homeschooled her,
dude. That's actually rough.
I homeschooled her, and I also had one kid once that had a lot of problems. Yeah, a lot of problems. And she used to go in her room, and I'd be like, "Well, you know, like, what do you think about Napoleon?" I would be outside the door, she'd be inside. and I'd slide the sheet under the door. I would talk to the door like it was a church confessional. Then I would slide the sheet and she would go, "Fuck Napoleon," and slide the sheet right back. I would hang out. Her mom.
How old?
She was in high school, 15, 14.
Yeah.
Mom loved me. Mom was like, "You have some patience." I was like, "Look, I'm just, doing my job. Like, you know what I mean? What am I supposed to do?" And the mom used to make me dinner. I used to sit at the table, hang out with her. She was very nice. Yeah.
That's wild. I got a couple of things I want to talk to you about. I have two. Pick one.
I'm assuming they're all Super Bowl related.
They're not Super Bowl related.
We will talk about that, though.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, but I want to hear your A first.
My A? So, as a devout, practicing Catholic, like we both are, tomorrow starts Lent. Do you do Lent?
Dude, all right, you want to laugh? So I don't do Lent. I mean, I don't do Lent
either, yeah.
Yeah, I just try to be a good person.
But you got to make Gaspare and Lucy do Lent, right?
Wait,
because they're going to school for it.
So, well, Gaspare, as Lucy's still too young, but Gaspare goes, "Oh, Dad, you know what we learned about this thing Lent." So I'm like, "Oh, what'd you learn?" He goes, "I don't know. I have to give something up." I go, "What are you going to give up?" He looks at me dead serious. He goes, "Dancing on Fridays." I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm not going to dance anymore on Fridays." I go, "But do you dance regularly?" And he goes, "Oh, I love dancing. I dance every day. I dance all the time. I have like happy dance, a sad dance, or this dance." I'm like, no, I never even heard of you liking dancing. And now you're giving it up for Lent. He just realized it's the easy way out. Like, it's like, pick something. Like, I remember I used to give up like coffee for Lent, and I don't drink coffee. Like, it was like, oh, I'm giving something up. So my mom's like, you can't give up dancing. You got to give up like maybe, sweets. He's like, I love candy though. And
so he doesn't get it. Right.
He's like, why the hell would I give that up?
Right.
So, why? Did you ever do Lent?
Oh, yeah. I probably did Lent until I was like 15.
What would you do? Like, I never remember anything good.
Yeah, I would give up it started like you just said, like giving up some bullshit that I knew I could do. But then, do you want to know something really fucking nuts about me? Like, really fucking nuts? This is so fucking sick. I can't even speak it.
You're going to do sign language?
I used to straight up smoke cigarettes, like legit.
Okay.
And I remember like one year, me and all my friends, when I was like 15, 16 years old, we were like, let's like stop smoking for Lent. And like we would, like Gaspare, we would literally like get in our cars to leave school and drive and just like start smoking. I'm like, what the? Like, looking back on it now, I'm like, that is bizarre. And I remember the day I quit smoking, it was because I started to feel like the repercussions of it. Like, I was like,
how old were you?
I was probably like 16, 17. I was like feeling
so
like I was like constantly, and like school, like food was starting to like not taste as good and shit. I was like, oh, it's because of smoking. I was just like, boom, done. Never smoked again.
Your parents know you smoked?
Fucking gross.
Well, now they do.
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. But it was like, was it like when you were in high school, was like everybody smoking?
Dude, but you know what's crazy? Like, kids don't smoke anymore.
Oh, I know. But when I was in high school, everybody was smoking cigarettes. Everybody was smoking.
Everybody had a pack of Newports up in their shoulder.
Newports?
Wow. We live in different parts of the country.
Newports, not Newports. But yeah, I was not Newports. I smoked two. I smoked Marlboro menthols, and then Camel Crushes came out, and then I thought that was so fucking cool. But yeah, just straight up smoke. I'm like, what the fuck? Now I'm just like, what? But like thinking back on high school, I remember like walking out at the end of the day and just like people were just smoking. Like
everywhere.
Do
you want to laugh? So one time I did a school play, right? And in the play, it was called The Nerd. I was the nerd, right?
You've told me this, yeah.
Yeah, so in the end, at one part of the play, basically the nerd is like, you ever see like You, Me, and Dupree with Owen Wilson and...
I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
Well, whatever. But like, he's just like this wacky friend that like lives with this guy, and the guy's like married and ruins his life. and I played the wacky friend. And at one part, the guy's an architect and he goes, what'd you do with my plans, Rick? Where's my plans? And I was like, oh, I fixed them. I made them a little better. Look, I cut a hole where the chimney's supposed to be. And then I cut a hole. And the director, we practiced every day for hours, every day. I had lines on every single page. It was nonstop practice for the play. We never practiced this scene because it involved smoking a cigarette. I take the cigarette and I hold it to the hole in the paper and I go, and I blow it like a chimney. Like I go, look, I put a chimney on and I blow the smoke through the chimney. So the whole time I was too afraid to ever like tell the director, like I didn't know how to smoke a cigarette because everybody
gave you
smoked.
A real cigarette?
Mm-hmm.
My God. That is crazy.
I got on stage. First of all, I couldn't light it. I had no idea. I thought you just lit it. I didn't know you had to like hold it to your mouth and suck it, you know? So I'm like holding it there and I'm like, but that made the audience laugh so much because it was like, this guy's a moron. Like he doesn't even know how to smoke. You know what I mean? Then I got the smoke in my mouth somehow and I just started coughing like crazy. And the audience loved it. And I just held my face up to the board and I just like dribbled smoke out of my mouth. And I
couldn't even imagine like smoking a cigarette right now. It's just like so not what I want to be doing.
But you also don't like smoke pot. You eat it or whatever. You do the
mainly, yeah.
You do the edible stuff or whatever. So it's like you don't.
And also I specifically made a conscious flip to edibles. I didn't smoke pot for damn near like I would say like I might have stopped. I might have had like a 10-year run maybe. And if it not, it was like super close, like maybe like 8 years, 7 years. And then I was like, I like got on edibles because I'm
addicted to them.
Started eating. Well, like because I was just like, I wasn't smoking. I enjoy the effects of it, but I don't want to. I was just like, I don't want to fucking huff some smoke and put it in my like beautifully pink, gorgeous lungs.
Yeah,
I'm like generally a very healthy person with some exceptions, but I just like can't smoke. So I'm like, I definitely am an edible eater. But now to like think back as smoking, like, I don't want to be smoking. I can't believe I smoke. Like, I'm like picturing myself smoking. I came across a picture of myself the other day with a cigarette behind my ear. I was like, what in the fuck?
Oh, you were like that guy.
Very much that guy. And in my fraternity, we would like smoke in the house sometimes and think we were so fucking cool.
Yeah. Yes. Like my like core group didn't smoke. So it like never got into it. You know what I mean? And then I remember like my best friend, I went away for the summer because we had a house in Pennsylvania and I came home and my best friend Ponzo was like smoking cigarettes. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And he was like, oh, if you don't want me, like, he was like, basically like, if you don't want me to do it, I won't do it. And I'm like, nah, it's disgusting. And he's like, all right, no problem. He just stopped smoking. But like, he stopped because like, he was just doing it because I wasn't there. He was like hanging out with different people and they were smoking. So he was like, I don't have to smoke. I'm like, yeah, it's gross. He's like, all right, no problem. He just stopped. No.
That's funny. Okay, I got another one for you.
Yeah, what's B now?
I fell down the best rabbit hole yesterday of squatters.
What, like people who live in other places or people who lift heavy weights?
Very, very good question. People who live in places that are not theirs.
Crazy.
It is unfucking real. It is unreal. Also, okay, well, first of all, if you guys don't know, squatters are people who like inhabit these areas. Like, honestly, if someone like parks a car on your front lawn and they just live out of their car, like technically that's a squatter. Or what's happening is people will rent Airbnbs. They'll squat in there, stay forever. And then when it gets too far, they'll just rent another Airbnb and do the same thing all over again. Or they'll start a lease, pay for it for a year. The lease is up. They don't move out. And they're just there for years sometimes.
And the eviction process in America is insane.
Now, do you guys know about that? Because you used to have a couple rental properties.
Oh, forget it. I could tell you stories for days, but they would live rent-free forever.
for like, very long stretches of time, right?
And like you can't like make it uncomfortable and shut their water because then they could sue you.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading about.
So it's like, they're just kind of like, no, we live here now. We're not paying you anymore.
But
And
I
it's like,
don't understand that because, okay, I can't shut it off, but I own the place.
yeah. Dude, you know what's happening right now? A big problem on Staten Island, probably everywhere. People are trying to sell their houses, right? But they have a
I
tenant.
just saw this last night.
Yeah.
I just saw this
So
last
like,
night.
you're my tenant. I'm trying to sell my house, but I can't get the price I want because anyone who comes and looks at it is going to say, I don't want that tenant there. I want the house, or I want the house to myself, whatever. I want to pick the tenant. And the tenant's like, I'm not leaving. So like, these people are handcuffed to the house. They can't show it. Like, you can't even show it. Like, we saw a house that was like, whatever, X amount of money. And like in Staten Island, like a house is like $700,000-$800,000. This
Right.
house was like 500. And we're like, how could this be? This beautiful house. No pictures inside, no tour allowed. You have to buy it as is, which means someone's probably renting the house currently, refusing to get out, or like there's a tenant from hell who's refusing to get out. These people are stuck. So they're just like, we'll sell the house as is. But my question is, if you own the house, can't I just be like, I'm fucking knocking it down tomorrow? Figure it out. Like, get out, because I'm knocking it down. And
apparently you can't.
No, you can't. I mean, what you can do
I
is
don't get it.
you could wait till they leave. You could like wait till they leave and
so
knock
that's
it down.
the thing. That's the
Change
way
the
to
locks.
get them. So there's
But then they never
there's so
leave.
much to this, Gas. There's so much to this. Like, okay. Some squatters will look at like places of people who just got evicted, or like units and apartments where they're like seeing people are moving out, and then they'll like sneak in when somebody like goes to put a TV in the back of their truck, and then they'll like hide in the closet and then start living, right?
Yeah.
But
it's insane.
I don't quite have the laws down, but there's a period of time that you can evict somebody. And if you don't get in that time, you're fucked. So I fell down this rabbit hole of this company that gets squatters out ethically and not breaking the law.
Like they're raccoons.
Like they're not breaking the law. So what they'll do is they will stake out of this house, and they're like, this person eventually will have to leave. They will have to get food and water. They will have to get food, the water they have in the house, but they will have to leave to get food at some point. So they wait and they wait and they wait. And when the person leaves, they're like, call the homeowner, because the homeowner has to be the one to do it. If the homeowner goes in and changes all the locks, that's how they do it. So there's like tricks and shit.
Can the person then turn around and say, all my stuff's in there, you're stealing my stuff?
There is kind of, yeah. There are so many laws that people have that they actually have rights. And I'm over here like, I'm sorry, squatters don't have rights. If
your property.
If people, like I watched an account of this woman who bought a home. She bought a home and she hired a contractor to do some work, right? And the contractor that she hired just like let people in. And then when she came in, there was like kids and like people playing in the driveway. And she's like, hey, like what's going on? And they're like, oh, we just moved here. We lived here. And she's like, no, like I live here. I own the house. And these squatters play these games where they're like, oh, we own the house. Like it's our, oh, sorry, like you're confused. Like this is our house. And they like do all this shit to keep stalling for time. And they will say all this legal jargon to get it to not happen. They'll be like, oh, we're in an appeal process. You can't come in. We're in the middle of an appeal process. It has, but it's like all this, and then you're watching. And I literally last night was like, if there was a show where it was a squatters company and they went to various places to remove the squatters, I would never miss a fucking episode of that.
But you know what would be really cool too? Like a movie where like these like it's like me, Melissa, and the kids, like we're coming home one day, like from, the carnival, and like people are just like living in our house. We call the cops and the cops come and they're like, no, like they're saying it's their house. Because now think about it from a police perspective. You show up, right? Because I would call the cops, right? Instantly, I would call the cops. And then if you're there and you're like, no, I live here, these people are telling me, and like they're logical and sane seeming, and they're like, whoa, like we're sitting on our couch watching TV. These people are saying that this is their house, you know? Now, granted, like if you're, I mean, I could say, okay, let's open up all the computers right now. And I know every password to every computer. Let's go in my closet downstairs behind the wall. There's pictures. I could identify everything in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, so like technically, but if technically, once again, the squatters could be like, no, 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 I don't want you in my house. This is my house. And like without a warrant, I don't know if the cops can just be like, yeah, let's walk through your house together. I don't know. I don't really know. That's interesting.
There's so much. And the other thing too is the comments are even worse, by the way.
And what's that? What do you mean?
For the people who are like, oh, squatters, they're just doing whatever they need to do to help their family survive. And here's my thing. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. Because there are places they can go, like shelters and food banks and this and that. That's not the place that I fucking own.
Well, like I remember one time we went to a magistrate, like a judge, to evict somebody. And basically the judge was like, listen, it's winter. And just let the guy continue to live, because he was like, I was with my dad and he's like, it's gonna be cold. He's not gonna be able to find an apartment. My dad's like, this guy hasn't paid me rent in 3 months, like, or whatever it was, probably more. So my dad's like, but now I'm paying for him to live. Like now he's costing me and my family money, but the rights never go to the landlord. It's always to the renter. You know what I mean? So like, I remember my dad like telling the judge, like, I'm like, what about me? Like you're saying,
cool? Was he calm about it? Was he like,
my dad was super calm. He was just like, I get it. Like, I don't want this guy to be out on the street, but at the same time, like, don't I like deserve to, like, I have to pay the mortgage on this. If the mortgage is $2,000 and he's 500 of that mortgage and he's not paying it, now I'm paying it myself. Like, how is this right? And then they were like, yeah, that's just the law. Like, that's what it is.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of squatters, which is a very interesting word to say, fast forward to the end of this year and think about your goals. If learning a new language is on your list, you've got to get Babbel. Babbel is a science-backed language learning app that actually works. With quick 10-minute lessons designed by over 150 language experts, you can start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. I love Babbel. Gabber loves Babbel. And together, we learned how to speak a little Dutch with our friends at Babbel. Here's a special limited time deal for social studies listeners. Right now, you can get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only if our listeners go to babbel.com/social. Get 55% off babbel.com at babbel.com/social. That's spelled BABBEL.com/social. Rules and restrictions do apply. Gaspar, did you watch the bowl? That's so super.
I watched the Super Bowl, loved it. I didn't go to anything. Like, I didn't go to a party. I didn't go anywhere to watch it because I was in Rochester the night before and I wanted to stay home, watch with my kids, who then fell asleep at 7:00. So it didn't matter. But I loved it. From a football fan, I loved it. It was a great game. I know you probably didn't care about that, but we won't even talk about that. What did you think of the halftime show? Because I'm sure that was more your speed since you stayed only till the halftime
Well,
show.
first of all, the homophobia is flying out of your throat today. But anyway.
Those were literally your words. I'm only staying till the halftime show and then going home. So if you were a true football fan, you would have watched the football game. Nothing to do with homophobia.
Hello, I just said I was leaving the party. And I said nothing about not finishing the game. I didn't finish the game, but that's not on me. That's the only game I watched.
Did you watch it till the end?
The Detroit Lions game, yeah.
No, the Super Bowl game.
I wore Lions gear to my Super Bowl party.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something really interesting you're not going to care about. There was a guy on the Jets, right? His name was Mecole Hardman. You know him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Mecole Hardman, the Jets were on this show called Hard Knocks over the summer, which is like inside training camp.
I do know. I do know. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, the Detroit Lions.
How I know about the Lions coach. Right. Right.
Yes. Yes. So when the Jets were on Hard Knocks, they had a psychic come, and the psychic brought Mecole Hardman on the Jets up to the front, and he goes, and then he goes, you will be playing in the Super Bowl versus the 49ers, right? Mecole Hardman's like, oh, all the Jets are like, yeah, the psychic said we're going to be in the Super Bowl. They sit down. Fast forward a few weeks, the Jets never use Mecole Hardman. He sits on the bench. They traded him to the Chiefs. He ends up catching the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. How crazy is that?
There's no way you can predict that shit.
Like, even if you predicted it, just like
they said 49ers, that's kind of...
Okay, here's the thing. Everybody predicted the 49ers were going to the Super Bowl. So that one's not the craziest. Now, it would have been crazy if he was like, the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. But he picked Mecole Hardman and then was like, you are going to you're going to play in the Super Bowl versus the 49ers. And he's the only guy who did. Everybody else was still on the Jets. He got traded to the Chiefs. Interesting, right?
That is super interesting. We still need to do the psychics episode. Damn, you got like strep or some shit? It looked like you were just shooting vodka.
I'm going to drink.
You got white little spots back there and stuff.
My tongue's just all white. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, you need to go to the doctor.
I don't believe in medicine. So
apparently.
No, but wait, so back to the football thing. What did you think of the halftime show? I thought it was boring.
I don't know because I'm not exactly caught up.
Is that an Usher joke?
Oh fuck! This is what I wanted to tell you. Oh my God. You didn't remind me. Dude, okay, everybody listen. This is what I do. Last night I was on one. Mondays are my day off and I don't do shit. I found some shit yesterday and sent it to Gaspare and like, I cannot wait to talk to you about this on the podcast.
I didn't even watch it because I wanted you to talk about it, so I didn't watch it.
Oh, fuck. Okay. The halftime show, sure. It wasn't the best. I don't think it was like the best.
I thought they were boring. Everybody was boring. Except Little John. He was fun.
I love Lil Jon. He
was just having a good old time.
Lil Jon. Yeah, that was my shit.
Like the rollerblading was weird to me. Like, why were they rollerblading? And then like Alicia Keys and Usher singing, like, sure, it was cool. Meanwhile, everyone's making a big deal. They're like, oh, Alicia Keys' his husband is who? Swiss Beats or something? I don't know. They were like, he's pissed. Like, it's a performance. Like,
right, exactly. Like, you ever watch movies and you got to fuck another person?
Was Angelina, was Jennifer Aniston mad when Brad Pitt was in a movie with Angelina Jolie? You like that little pop culture reference?
Hey! Okay, so I'm on TikTok. Yesterday. I'm like scrolling through. It's this girl with a fucking black eye. And she's like, hey, I'm the girl who fell off stage on the rollerblades at the halftime show, blah, 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 blah. And she's going off telling you the story about how she was one of the backup dancers and she fell off the stage and it could have been way worse. And it's just like very serious. And I'm like, I'm fucking watching it. And I'm like, you know what? The Super Bowl was literally yesterday. I'm pretty sure that I would still be like swollen as fuck and probably some cuts and shit all over her face. I'm like, I don't know about this. And then I like go to the comments and like other people are skeptical, but then there's people like backing her up. And I'm like, this is weird. And then I go to her page and the next one, she posted a video of her. It's like she's overdoing it to some sound, right? And then the caption says, when I'm having a good time and I suddenly remember when my ex said that his ADHD made him lose interest in women quickly and that if I don't let him see other girls that I was being ableist. And I was like, oh, that's fucking crazy. And then I go down this girl's, her whole Instagram. It's all a girl making TikTok videos in the style of a person making TikTok videos about themselves, but they're all fake. They're all crazy stories. Like she's like, if somebody fell off the stage and then they made a TikTok about it, this is what it would look like. And it's perfect, right?
Are they funny or is it interesting?
No, it's just fucking weird.
Like, does it have a lot of views? Does it have a lot of like?
Yes, they all get tons of views. She has this, she's like crying into the camera because her hair got teased because she's talking about how like her hairstylist like teased her hair instead of actually cutting it. And she's like crying, going nuts like this. It's fake. It's not real. Like she did it all herself and she's just like doing it. And she's basically acting as like a TikTok person, but like it's all fucking fake. And then there are these people now, it's like a trend to do this. Now, this one's even crazier. There's this other podcast, right? There's this girl on Instagram, her name's Corporate Natalie, and she has a podcast with someone, and they talk about like basically like corporate life and shit.
Okay.
And they were talking about like how Gen Z people tend to like call into work. And like, they're like, oh, like that's not in my contractual hours. Like they're just like more la-zeda about it, right? So on their podcast, they were reading an email from a fan who was talking about how they asked someone, one of their employees, to come in early to start working on something. And the Gen Z employee said, ooh, sorry, I can't. I have a workout class at 8. And they were both like, fired. Absolutely not. Get rid of this person. This is nuts, right? So some random fucking guy on TikTok made a video as the employee who sent and he was like, and he was acting like the girl on the podcast, was the actual boss. And he was saying that I'm an intern on that podcast and I got fired for that email. And he's like, and it's bullshit because my contractual hours are 9 to 5. They asked me to come in at 8 o'clock without 24 hours notice. I have a fitness class that I've paid for, and I've paid this many months worth, and I would have been out that money and not able to accrue it. So yeah, I'm not going to come in. And it was so realistic that their podcast started getting insane hate in the comments. People were emailing, people were demanding to get it shut off and all this shit. Like, it's nuts. So this is like a trend on TikTok to like
we need
do
someone
fake,
to do this
realistic fake shit. No, it's no, don't ask for this.
Our interns are my kids.
Let's try it.
Wait, but it is actually kind of funny. Like, imagine you just like, you and I right now just make a video about like our experience at the Super Bowl, and it's just completely made
and it's
up.
just all not real. But that's the thing that's happening in the comments. They're like, is this just people doing like acting on TikTok? Or
it's hard
is this someone lying very well to get clout?
Like, here's the thing. I could right now, right? All right, let's just do the quickest like fake scenario of this. Ready? So Kanye West gets cold shoulder from former pal Leonardo DiCaprio inside Super Bowl suite.
Literally, when I was at the Super Bowl, Gaspare, I swear to God, I was looking up in this suite and I saw Kanye and Leonardo DiCaprio. And Leo was very, very, outgoing, into the day and shit. And I swear to God, I saw Kanye try to talk to him 3 times. And every single time he would look at him, it was like this. Every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or like, imagine you're like,
you could just do that. You could just do that.
Or I'm a waiter at the Super Bowl and I was in the box with the suite and I had to go in and I saw it.
And Taylor Swift was a bitch to me when I tried to give her some meatballs, and it's just not real. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing that.
You could literally do it about like deadly listeria outbreak prompts dairy product recall at Costco. Oh, hey, I'm the guy who works at Costco.
No. Do a little spin in your chair and get into it. Give me the real.
I'm going to die in my throat.
Even better.
Hey, I just ate this stuff from Costco and it had listeria in it. I came back from the hospital and now Costco's recalling all of this stuff because of me. And it's crazy, but I'm glad that I was able to make this sacrifice for all of you. Pray for me. GoFundMe. Hashtag Gaspare Listeria.
No,
Gasteria. Oh, it hurts to laugh because my strep.
Gasteria. You got strep for sure. No doctor, but I know strep.
So speaking of Taylor Swift, this was one thing I wanted to tell you. So I posted this thing on Instagram yesterday, and I was like,
I can only imagine where this.
I said, a lot of people say like Taylor Swift's in it for the love and that she really loves Travis Kelce. But did you guys stop and think? And then I just pointed up and I like put a picture. It said the person who wins the Super Bowl, the players on the winning team get $164,000 for winning the Super Bowl. And I go, did you ever stop to think maybe she's just in it for the money? And I pointed to that. dude, these Taylor Swift, obviously I'm fucking joking. She makes $1 million a second.
Did you leave it up?
Of course.
Good
but dude,
for you.
I'm getting these messages, these comments, and they're like, she makes more in an hour than he can make in his lifetime. And it's like, dude, she's a billionaire. She flew a private helicopter from like one city block to another. And it's like, it's a fucking joke. You think I don't know who Taylor Swift is? Like, it's just mind blowing. And these people went nuts, but it was great. I loved it.
Nuts. Yeah, that's like a whole thing.
Also, I just watched a movie just right before we came on this. My kids went to bed super early because we were playing in the snow all day. It was called Queen Pins. Did you see it?
No.
It's about these girls who run
bowling.
No, it's about these girls who run a counterfeit couponing empire. It's
cannot wait to watch this. Is it a documentary?
No, it's Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell, another girl who's famous. I forgot her name. Bunch of Vince Vaughn's in it. And it's this girl, she loves using coupons and then basically realizes like, oh, I could sell the coupons, like buy one, get one free, right? Like diapers. She's like, a buy one, get one free. I could sell that coupon for half because they're still getting the money. You know what I mean? Like I could sell it for $10. And then, so it starts like that. Like she's like, I have all these excess coupons. She's selling them. Then I'm not ruining it. This is like the first 10 minutes of the movie. Then they they get in contact with a supply house that makes the coupons. Like, because, you know, coupons are made somewhere. And they get in contact with the coupon distributor and basically bribe one of the guys. It's made in Mexico. It's a true story. They bribe one of the Mexican guys who works there to give them coupons. Like, you know, so he's now stealing like the free, you know, buy one, get one free. So now they just have thousands of them and they're like $10 each. And they were like racking in millions of dollars running a fraudulent coupon business. Like these two, like, you know,
suburban
regular
moms.
people. Yeah. So it was good. It's not like funny. It's not too serious. It's just like you watch it and you're the whole time you're like, oh, it's a good movie. You know what I mean? It's like nothing crazy.
I will definitely be watching that. We got time for an email if you want to get into one.
Yeah, just you read it.
Hi, Gaspare and Joe. Longtime listener. Joe, I actually saw you for the first time years ago in good old Hunts Vegas, aka Huntsville. I remember that show. Thank you for being there. Anywho, last week on Joe and Mama Fran's podcast, Let's Watch TV, they discussed Maine Coons. Do you know what a Maine Coon is, Gaspare?
Mm-mm.
It's a cat like you got a fucking cougar in your house. It's like 35 pounds, huge, face as big as yours. It's a fucking huge cat. It's a breed of cat. And I have a semi-hilarious / semi-morbid story for y'all about my Maine Coon named Burr. During the Coco, I decided that since I wasn't entertained by a room full of feral kindergartners, I needed to fill a gap with a cat. I didn't realize when I got him at 10 weeks old that he would end up being gigantic. Fast forward almost 2 years, and one of my girlfriends and I went on an annual beach trip. At the time, we had a newborn baby. Random, I know, but it will all make sense, I promise. While I was gone, our cat threw a blood clot and died unexpectedly. He had just had surgery from a broken hip that he got from jumping in and out of a bassinet, that fatty. My husband didn't find the dead cat until he got home from work late. It was dark outside and his wife and baby had been gone for a couple of days. So in his infant wisdom, he decided digging a baby-sized hole would look suspicious. Instead, he went full-blown serial killer and stuck the dead rigor mortis cat in a trash bag and in the freezer. He came home early from work the next day to bury him in the front yard before I got home. We totally live out in the country. This is totally legit, I think. Easy to say, we will not be getting another pet anytime soon. My husband is absolutely traumatized, but we do continuously make jokes about our cat spends a lot more time in the backyard. Hope you have fun on all of your tours and look forward to another opportunity next time I see y'all. I should probably keep my name out of this one, as I shouldn't have a cat buried in my backyard. Not a cat. You have a damn lion cub in your backyard. No shit. That's crazy. And you have a lot in common with Gaspare, who's got a literally. All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening to the Social Studies Podcast. Again, you can tickets to see me live at thejoedombrowski.com.
And you can get tickets to see me at gasparrandazzo.com.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.